The new show, Tough as Nails, is set to premiere at 8 o'clock tonight, right here on Channel 3. And joining us now to talk all about it is executive producer and Connecticut native Anthony Carbone. Anthony, thanks so much for chatting with us. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So just real quick, give us a brief rundown of the show. What can viewers expect to see when they tune in tonight?
You can see a show. So Tough as Nails is about everyday Americans, those essential workers that we've been talking about, competing in a competition to see who is toughest. And by toughest, we mean mentally tough, physically tough. It's not just about this. It's about what's in your brain, how working smarter, not harder. And it's 12 Americans working against each other. And also they work as a team sometimes as well. And it's just a fun show to watch and enjoy.
All right, it looks super interesting, but you've got a big job. Tell us a little bit about your specific role with Tough as Nails.
So I'm one of the showrunners and exec producers, which means I'm overseeing the entire thing top to bottom. This was created by Phil and Louise Kogan, who brought me along to help make it a reality. And so basically it's kind of like pre-production. We figure out what the show is, what our challenges are, these real jobs that these people are competing in. Then we shot it, and that's, I'm overseeing all that and all these different departments. And then it's post-production, the editorial, which we've been doing from home because we finished shooting at the end of February, and then we've been editing at home ever since.
Pre-COVID, isn't that so interesting to kind of see how things had to shift? So crazy. All right, and we already mentioned it, but this is kind of, I think, one of the most important things that we want to talk about. You're a Connecticut native. You're from Simsbury. Tell us where you got your start.
Yeah, so I went to high school at Simsbury, Connecticut. My mom still works at Simsbury High. My dad works at Tooten Hills. And I went to high school there. Some of my best friends all from there. I'm actually married to someone who went to Simsbury High as well. And it was a great experience. Great, miss Connecticut. I'm in Los Angeles right now, so I do miss it.
Well, I'm sure you've got lots of people here back home in Connecticut rooting for you, cheering you on. So awesome seeing people from Connecticut doing great things like you're doing. We're going to have much more with Anthony coming up tonight at 11 o'clock on Eyewitness News. And make sure you tune in to see the premiere of Tough as Nails right here on Channel 3 tonight, 8 p.m. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck with the show. We cannot wait to watch it.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Have a good day.
All right, Anthony, we're going to ask a couple other quick questions for you real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Okay, so the behind the scenes stuff is super interesting, and you just mentioned that a lot of things that probably changed due to the pandemic. Can you kind of go into some of those details? You obviously shot, you said February, and then had to kind of edit everything at home?
Yeah, so we finished shooting right in the end of February. And then, right when post-production, our editors started in earnest is when COVID really started taking everything over. And we had to make the quick decision to send all our editors, we had about 7, 8 editors, all our story team, all our producers home. And basically everyone got a drive of all the materials. And then we just worked through Zoom, through other mechanisms of editorial. And so we just communicate, and cuts would be sent, and we'd watch them. And so we haven't seen, none of us have seen each other for months and months. But we've worked all together to create this show and get it on the air. It became especially important because by happenstance, it just happened to be part of the zeitgeist. Like this is about these are people who, when everything shuts down, these are the people who are still out there making sure the roads work and electricity is working, all that stuff. And so it suddenly, we had the show that was of the time just by chance.
I know we've talked a lot about, these everyday heroes. This project really looks at and kind of honors those blue collar workers. So you kind of just mentioned it, but why is this so important to highlight them, especially right now?
Well, right now we can all see how important it is to have blue collars workers out there, keeping this country running. Not enough shows, highlight like a lot of shows sometimes will have like one guy and hey, this guy's a blue collar worker, isn't it cool? But like we were like, wouldn't it be cool to have everybody be from that background and see them compete in these everyday challenges? And we just thought it would be a fun thing to see, because all the time those are our favorite characters. So like, that guy is so cool. Like, he's this American guy and he's a whatever electrician. And then now we have 12 of them. So why not?
I know it is a really cool concept. And then obviously we just talked about that as well. You're executive producer and showrunner for this show, specifically Tough as Nails, but you're also executive producer and showrunner for Floor is Lava on Netflix. So what's that like compared to doing Tough as Nails? What are the differences?
Very different. I've always been a big advocate of keeping your resume eclectic. Floor is Lava was a fun time. We shot that last year, and that show was just ridiculous. That was like, we built these gigantic, ridiculous sets, and every day was all about laughter and watching people fall into things. So it was a very different experience. This show, was almost like live sports when I was on set sometimes, watching these people compete, because, they're so smart, so interesting. And our challenges are these cool challenges, like build a railroad track, whatever it is. And so sometimes it was more like sports, and Floor is Lava was more like just a hilarious laugh every single day.
Well, and it's kind of interesting that you said that, because a lot of people have obviously had nothing else to do except go through, watch tons of Netflix, watch tons of TV, and they're looking for shows like that to kind of be super entertained on all ends of the spectrum. So you kind of got that covered, like you're running the gamut.
Yes, I know. It's just by chance, like it just like happened to be these shows that I ended up doing and helped create and helped figure out. But what I love is that both shows are these shows that you could watch with your kids. Like Floor is Lava, obviously very family friendly, fair. But like even this show has Tough as Nails has a great, like, if you want to watch it with your family, it's great, and it creates a conversation in many ways that Floor is Lava obviously doesn't, which is more about like, what is America? What is a job? What can I do? Do I have to go to college? Can I go to trade school? Those type of things that Tough as Nail hits on. That Floor is Lava is more like, I want to trash my living room. It's more what kids want to do after seeing that.
Okay, awesome. So I don't know if you necessarily can go into a ton of details, but can you give us a little bit of like behind the scenes? We watched a little of the footage of Tough as Nails, some of those competitors, like you said, job sites where they're doing railroad track building. What does it look like? Because it does look really tough. Is it super difficult for a lot of these folks who do this day in and day out?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, like, some of our challenges were straight up brutal. Like, it's just, like we're in Los Angeles. It's hot. It's, we're up north, about an hour north in Los Angeles. So it could be hot. It could be deserty climates. And, we had a coal shoveling challenge where they had to shovel three times their body weight, whatever it is. By the end of these challenges, they are sweating. They are, and by the end of the series, because they're here the entire time, the thing that's unique about the series is no one goes home. You might be eliminated from the individual competition to win $200,000, but you're still in a team competition to win money. And everybody on this show walked away with some money. So, but that's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of there's not a lot of downtime. So by the end of this thing, people were, nicked, cut, aches, pains. And so, but there were some amazing challenges that took hours. And so by the end, they were just, pouring sweat, brutalized.
It sounds like it. So can you give us like any little preview of some of the more unique challenges that we might see throughout the season, or
sure,
anything like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, one of my favorite challenges was very simple, which was basically we took them to a junkyard to pick apart and just tested their aptitude when it came to cars, which was basically, here's, a ratchet, go find an alternator, and they had to just all run off and find an alternator, which some people are very savvy at that. Some people are mechanically, but then we had a farmer who's fixed her tractor all the time, but she couldn't, she had difficulty finding an off there or whatever it is, and everyone had their own difficulties or whatever it is. We had a great challenge that was like an irrigation challenge, which is this giant, heavy irrigation to irrigate fields and farms and stuff like that, where just watching people drag those things down a field for hours was intense. But it ran the gamut. We did like lineman challenges, we did like firefighter challenges, just all sort every challenge is like a real job that you'd see, like real job sites. And every time they're so competitive and so respectful of each other too, which was really cool to watch.
That is awesome. Is this something that like while you're on set filming where you're like, oh my gosh, I could never do any of this stuff that they're doing?
My joke is always I have very soft hands. Like we always talk about like everyone has like they wear calluses on their hands like a badge of honor. It was always like a little like catchphrase we'd always say, and I'd always be like, like look at my hands. I'd be like, yeah. But yes, like we didn't. It wasn't the most like Boys Love is the type of show where you're inside in the studio. It's nice, this craft services. This we were outside, in the elements all the time. I'm not the strongest. I'm not gonna lie.
Is there anything else that you want viewers to know about some of those behind the scene things? Obviously, this show sounds like it's pretty unique. Like I don't know if I've ever seen or heard of anything that's even similar. So this is something that you might kind of hook people with.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what I love about it, what's unique is beyond the fact that like the contestants that we're having aren't these contestants. So many of these shows nowadays, it's like, oh, let's see who's tough. And they put them in like some leotard and they do some fake challenge or whatever. And I've done a lot of those shows and they're fun. But this is we really wanted to capture a slice of America and capture who these people are and have challenges that you can relate to. And on top of that, the people not going home is very interesting. Like that, it would always suck these shows. You cast these things for months. I mean, you cast these things for months and months. And then someone who's awesome, messes up at one challenge, like, and now you go home. Well, here we have their voice, their story over 10 episodes. So we don't have to be like, here's whoever, and let's hear everything about them because they go home. Now we can kind of unfold a story throughout all 10 episodes. So I think that's unique. But the other thing is like, what's interesting to me about this show is like, so many people worked behind the scenes to make it happen. Like we always talk about these people being so tough, but I had a crew. We had a crew of like 100 plus people who are all, they're all tradespeople and artists, and union workers and carrying things and stuff like that. So there's this whole world behind it that is actually super tough as well. Besides me, I'm not tough at all. So, but they're all very tough.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time to kind of chat with us a little bit more about the show. We obviously, like I said, we can't wait to watch it tonight. Did we miss anything?
No, I don't think so. I think it's on tonight, right? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah.
Check it out.
Can't wait. I'm sure your family is so excited to watch it out here in Connecticut too.
Yeah, my parents and my mother-in-law, everybody is, they're all ready to watch. Everyone, I have a whole blue collar background, not me, but like all my family. My family are all like construction workers, all that type of stuff in Boston. So, hopefully they'll check it out as well.
That's awesome. Well, Anthony, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking some time so early on the West Coast for chatting with us this morning.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, take care. Good luck with the show.
Thank you.